Hello Virgo friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Virgo December 2023 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. This is for you if Virgo is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Virgo placement you're listening for. What we're going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Virgo friends, then basically September 15th through the rest of the sign, or Virgo degrees, like 23 degrees to the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Libra report, as you very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. I'm calling the theme of this report 2023 Wrap-Up and 2024 Sneak Peek. So we're going to look at many different layers of this month. I always like to explain the astrological potentials as layers of potential, and some of those layers have different factors than other layers, but they're all true at the same time. So the more layers we go into, the more you can get a feel of the flavor of the time, and you can align your energies to make the most of the potentials and guide around the pitfalls. So if you've been watching my work for a while, you know that I've been alternating, trying to keep everybody happy. I've been alternating a pretty slideshow with showing the chart. So this month I'm going to try giving you a snapshot of the chart. You might have to take a couple of screenshots because the size of the chart, the way it's showing up in the video, you can't get the top and the bottom at the same time. But so basically for you who want to follow along with the chart, if you take a screenshot or use another device and take a picture of this chart that I'm going to be working off of, then you can have it to refer to as I talk about it. And for the rest of you who don't want to look at the chart, then you'll have the pretty slideshow. And of course, if you're on the podcast, you're out of all of the visuals, which you may want. So if you want to see the visuals, you can go to my YouTube channel, Annie Botticelli. If you're on the YouTube channel and you don't want the visuals, find me on all major podcast venues. Okay, so we're going to talk about many different factors. Some of them are the same for all signs. They're general transits, but they're so important because they're completely relevant to the flavor of the month. And then we'll take those layers and convert them into specific Virgo things so that you'll get a good picture of the general transits, the general mood, and a lot of things specific for Virgos. Okay, so we have two very exciting things to celebrate right off the bat this month. The first is that we finally have a positive shift in what I call the sweet to salty ratio of aspects. Aspects are mathematical connections that planets make that create meaningful outcomes. The sweet ones are obviously when the planets are getting along and we can see harmonious, exciting, wonderful gifts that come in with ease and grace. And the salty ones are nuisance road bumps and can range, from annoying to downright dangerous. Fortunately, this month we don't have some of the really nasty aspects that we've had in recent months. October was a doozy, November was intense, September was annoying. So we've just got kind of nuisance aspects this month, little road bumps along the way. But either way, the sweet aspects are more than the salty, and that's the first time in several months. So we will notice that, and it's a nice break and something to celebrate. The second thing to celebrate is that we're exiting eclipse season. So even if you had wonderful outcomes, as you may have from that fellow Earth sign Taurus eclipse, there's still a lot of intensity. So at the end of August, September, October, November, all eclipse season. And here we are at the tail end. So you could still see some manifestations, some things coming to fruition, some events and news. But for the most part, that heavy, emotional, intense, like you have your finger stuck in a light socket for an extended period of time, is shifting. So we're celebrating that. If you're interested in eclipse cycles and how they relate to karmic clearing and stepping into your highest expression in this lifetime and the layers of cycles at play with eclipses, then you will love my deep dives into eclipses, which I talked about in the September, October, and November reports. So you can find info on these eclipse cycles there. But I'm not going to go into them this month for our purposes here. Just know that we're at the tail end of that, and the changes that we had from the me, we sectors and the my stuff, our stuff sectors are coming to a close for now. Okay, so the next thing to point out is that there's a stark difference in some of the energies of October and November versus December. Some of that is really good, as I pointed out, because we had a lot of nastiness going on there, a lot of intensity, a lot of stress. And so that's lightening in December. One other thing that has shifted, though, is the retrograde, or tides, as I like to call the profile. Okay, so when personal planets go retrograde are Mercury, Venus, and Mars. When those planets are retrograde, or the shadows of retrograde, which is the time right before the retrograde transit or the time right after the retrograde transit, that kind of, tend to be true to whatever's going on in the retrograde. You can see those things in the shadows as well. So in the retrograde time, or when we're out of the retrograde time, which October and November, we were in this golden period free from personal planet retrogrades, it's a good time to do very important things. Okay, so if you're listening to this report early, then you still may be in this beautiful golden period of ease in the stars for having clarity, for making decisions, for making big purchases, sales, investments, commitments, parties, travel, scheduling more freely. October, November is an easier time for that. Getting all of your appointments, your diagnostics, things that you would do, around, just yearly or twice a year or whatever. Those kind of things are going to be much easier in October, November, because the retrogrades tend to bring things inward and backwards, and particularly Mercury retrograde, which we're stepping back into in December, lends itself to rescheduling and having a hard time even seeing more than one step ahead. And often things that you plan in this time are shuffled around and harder, either from your end or the end of the person you're trying to connect with, have an easier time of falling through. Okay, so schedule all of your stuff if possible in October and November, and know that December, to write things in pencil and to avoid committing if you can. And any commitments you make, have them be light. I know it's going to be hard during holiday season because, there will be parties, there will be gatherings, but the less you commit yourself, the happier you'll be when you leave that freedom for yourself when plans change, as they will. All right, so I'll give you some dates here. Now, throughout this report, I will give you some dates, a couple of specific moon events and degrees and some things that we'll talk about there. If you're a person that loves to know the dates and aspects and the specifics of the signs and the houses and what may happen, you will love to go to anniehelpsyou.com, which you can see in the link in the notes underneath the video or podcast, or you can see at the end of the report, or you can just write down and remember anniehelpsyou.com. If you put your email address and name in there, you will join my free VIP community. You will get my write-up of the month and early, plus access to the archives, plus my astrology education newsletters, plus my reminders about things like this golden period and important, things that are happening, and all of that's free. Okay, so if you like that stuff, definitely join the free VIP community. We'll get some of it in this report, but you'll get much more of it there. Okay, so some details about Mercury retrograde season. The pre-transit shadow period begins around November 26th. It officially goes retrograde December 12th, and it's retrograde until January 1st, 2024, with the post-transit shadow period stretching until January 21st. Okay, so this means we're going inward and backward. This means October and November is a time to expand your webs, to put your messages in a bottle out to sea because the tides are going out, to escape from the deserted island that you built your boat on, and the tides are going out and can take you out and away from that place, okay? So anything you want to launch or get out far and wide, October and November are great for that. But as we transition into December, the tides are coming in. So what happens when you try to throw something into a wave when the tide's coming in? It comes right back to you. And that's a really good thing to remember about retrograde. And, specifically now in Mercury retrograde, when you try to commit to something, if you try to tell someone you're going to do something, if you, try to launch something, anything that you do in December is going to have a chance to boomerang back to you very quickly. And that's, can be anything from your mood or, other just nuisance day-to-day karma. Things you're putting out may come back to you very quickly. And so it's not a good time to try to launch your ship of dreams, your thing you've been planning forever, because it's just not going to go out as far and wide as you would like it to. Retrogrades are a great time to do a bunch of different things, like staycations. Also can actually be good for travel as long as you can be flexible and know that things are likely to change. It's fantastic for what I call last minute magic, meaning you leave yourself nice and unscheduled with low commitment as much as possible, as I suggested for this month. And because of that, you're available to say yes to cool things that pop up last minute. Mercury retrogrades are also great for wrapping things up. So this is perfect for the end of the year. Any administrative stuff you have to do, even getting a leg up on taxes, clearing out your desk, clearing out your house to be ready for the new year, clearing out some emotional baggage to be able to commit to your new directions and your new goals that you're going to set up for 2024. All of that is perfect for retrograde time, as is going back to old things, whether it's a place you lived, a place that you've been to that you love, whether it's connecting with friends, acquaintances, things from the past. If you need a job, it's a great time to go back to someone you used to work for or a contact that you had. Just imagine, keep in your mind this month the image of being on the shore and things rolling in, okay? And if you try to put something out, it rolls back. But what else happens with these tides coming in is things that you worked on in the past or that you've tried to make happen in the past can roll right in front of you in the form of manifestation. So if you've been trying to do something might get delivered to you. Now, important distinction this month, this is a time to reap the rewards of things you've done in the past, as long as they're coming to you and you're not trying to initiate them, okay? This is a time to stay in your web and let the food come to you. And then you can say yes to things that come into your web, but that's different than you going out and trying to make something happen. This is not a time to try to make things happen. It's a time to see what rolls up on shore. If it's garbage, you deal with it. If it's sweet, you enjoy it. And that's going to really make this month wonderful and so much easier understanding these tides. Okay, so let's talk about the energies of some of the transits and some general implications and some Virgo specific things. The Scorpio energies are lingering a bit longer this year because Venus is going to run through the whole sign of Scorpio in the month of December. So chances to unite with other people in meaningful ways, make psychological and spiritual breakthroughs, dive deep into mystery, whether it's reading or watching a series or writing a mystery book or solving a health mystery. There are tons of opportunities to receive and give emotional support or financial support or help or something like that in fulfilling ways. So this, all of these Scorpio energies are lingering longer than usual. And we've had a very long Scorpio season because with the Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle that was closing out, those storylines started to be very present, even at the end of August with this energy of this eclipse cycle. And then, of course, we had the Scorpio sun transits and other planets moving through Scorpio. We had Mars moving through Scorpio. We had the Mercury transit. So there's been a lot of that. And it's intense and highly emotional. Now, it turns out that the angle that Scorpio makes for Virgo is very good. It's a 60-degree angle full of opportunities. So continuing to have Venus. So if you're looking at the charts, look in the bottom left and you'll see the Venus sign, the circle with the cross. She starts the month in Libra, but very quickly gets into Scorpio. And then star goddess Pallas Athena is also in Scorpio. So you've got these two ladies of the zodiac who are lighting up this beautiful angle for Virgo, full of opportunities to unite with other people. The third house is a house of communication, transport, and social scenes. So, this could be a very lucky time where you could just run into the right person and have a wonderful experience or have something meaningful happen, or it could be a key to something that you're working on. If you're trying to write a book, you may run into an editor. This third house is very much about writing, researching, listening, speaking. And so you've got, these two ladies here. Venus can bring lots of blessings involving love and money. And Pallas Athena is a strategist. She is a goddess of war, right? We know who Athena is, goddess of wisdom, goddess of war. She's not as psychotic, we'll say, as Mars, or Ares, I guess her brother, right? Because they're the Roman names and the Greek names. But basically, Mars, Ares, our other god of war, Eris. That's his sister, and she will fight if necessary, and she is, strong and goal-oriented, we'll say. But she also likes to avoid war or plays on a different level than the physical war. All right, so you have an opportunity to strategize in a major way right now. And we have a ton of Sagittarius energy. So again, if you're looking at the chart, look at the bottom center, you'll see star goddess Ceres. It's looks like a question mark. That's actually a sickle, or a scythe rather. It cuts the wheat. So she's a goddess of the harvest. Mars is there, the sun is there, Mercury will retrograde back into Sagittarius, and this will lighten the Scorpio mood. So this is a much needed easing of the heaviness of this prolonged Scorpio energy, where Scorpio storylines now fall into the backdrop, and the Sag energies to party and celebrate and expand and grow and learn and broaden horizons and travel far and wide, whether it's ethereally or whether it's physically. It's a time of optimism and hope. And now specifically for Virgo, this makes a square for you. So there may mean that you've got a little pressure point with these Sag placements. You might have a little impetus to do some things, especially involving your home and family. So home and family, housing, things are going to need a lot of attention at this time. But it could be cool housing things. It could be you're getting settled into a space. You're getting, making plans for future home family things, or strategizing, like we talked about with Palace Athena. These pressure points don't have to be bad. They can be the work it takes to make something happen. But you will notice that you'll be working harder, paying more attention to home, family, and housing and real estate things at this time. Could be home business, could be anything like that. Okay, so I promised there would be a couple of dates we would talk about. And again, go to anniehelpsyou.com to get more of a write-up, to see my dates to be awareful and careful of, and my favorite dates of the month. We have, as I started out this report telling you, we have no less than 14 amazing aspects this month, and I took my top, I think, how many did I put in there, 5 or 6, and what you can see from them in my report, so you can get that at anniehelpsyou.com. But for now, we're going to talk about some other, 2 other things. They're notable moon dates. So December 12th, we've got a new moon in Sagittarius, and so joining all of that Sag energy is also a new moon, okay? So new beginnings involving education, learning, teaching, international things, passports, immigration, things like that, and new beginnings with home and family and housing and real estate, specifically for Virgo, because it's in that 4th house of home. On the 26th, we have the full moon at almost 5 degrees of Cancer. Now, this energy is also about home and family and housing and real estate, because the 4th house is the house of Cancer. So we've got the full moon in the sign of Cancer, and we have the Sagittarius energies crowding your house of Cancer. So this is going to be very home and family oriented, which I guess in a holiday month is very appropriate. So you may be gathering with family, traveling to see them. They may be traveling to see you. People who feel like family who aren't blood related. This is, a very emotional, a time of emotional connection. And in the days around the 26th, there's this fullness, completion, fruition. In some cases could be drama, but at least this is at a good angle for Virgo, so it increases the odds that holiday celebrations will be very merry, and just create wonderful lasting memories. All Virgos can get kisses from this full moon in Cancer, but if you're an early degree Virgo, so the August born, basically all of the August born Virgos, and anyone from 0 to 10 degree Virgo placement, you'll get an extra kiss. The closer to 5 degrees, so around like August 28th, days around there, the more tight that connection is, the bigger kiss you'll get from that. Okay, so let's do a sneak peek. We just talked about short-term transits. These are things that pass quickly. Now I want to give you a few pieces about long-term transits that have been happening for 2023, and in some cases before, will continue in 2024, and just understand these themes a little bit more as it relates to some of the outer planets. The outer planets are ones that take longer to go around. The first one I want to talk about is Jupiter. First of all, Jupiter is going direct this month. So December 31st, anything in the month of December, basically, anything that started to stall out in September when Jupiter went retrograde may start to roll forward again, okay? So if you've had something that just went dormant and you're like, what the heck? That may liven up now. And it may liven up even though Mercury is in retrograde, okay? So this big gas giant can trump a lot of, it doesn't take the Mercury retrograde mischief away, but it can definitely put certain things moving forward, even in a time of inward and backward, especially along the idea of big dreams, big long-term things that you've been working on, ambitions, goals, perceptions, perspectives. Certain ways of seeing things may start to wake up, even though your day-to-day stuff and trying to schedule things long-term there might be a little bit unclear. You might see some of your big dreams, your big ambitions, your big hopes, your big projects kind of start to wake up. And that is because Jupiter is going direct. Jupiter has been moving through Taurus since May 2023 and will continue that transit into May 2024. For all signs, this is waking up and expanding the house and energy of money and financial security and how you are with the earth and your ecological imprint and gardening and farming and anything Taurian related. Stability. Now, specifically for Virgo placements, this has been accentuating your house of Sagittarius. Okay, so here's another layer here. We talked about all of the short-term transits through Sagittarius, enlivening, everything long distance, different cultures, different languages, teaching programs, you as a student, you as a teacher, things like that. And now we have Jupiter waking up for this long-term energy. So something wants to be broadened for you. Adventures want to happen for you. And getting out of your shell and getting out of the mundane experience is not only going to be a supercharged theme in December, but this theme is going to carry through all the way into May. And if you're a later degree placement of Virgo, it will extend beyond there too in the Placidus chart. Okay, so one more sneak peek into 2023. This is a theme that started early in 2020 or in 2024. Sneak peek into 2024. This is something that started in early 2023 and will actually go through 2026. This is Saturn moving into Pisces. And for Virgo, this is opposing your sign. Okay, so if you are an August born, again, you guys are targeted for something here. The first time we talked about it was something sweet. This time it's something more intense. But again, what I'm speaking about here is relevant for all Virgo placements. Just those of you in the August spectrum will be feeling it more and it may be heavier for you, but the themes are still present for every placement. And this has to do with solidifying relationships. You may have ended relationships this year. You may have gone to a different level of relationships. You may have added to the seriousness or entrenchment of the relationship. So this is an energy that stabilizes. Saturn is basically working on a long-term project. The energy of meeting a long-term partner, getting engaged, getting married, having children, doing business stuff together, anything like that. And this energy can extend beyond just romantic too. This can be, getting serious about your client contacts, anything having to do with bringing stable long-term players into your life and testing the relationships that you currently have. So look out for those storylines to continue next year as well. So if you want to know even more about this time in the future, time to make the most of it, go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your email address and name there, get my free VIP community access, get my Shine 28-day virtual coaching course for free, get all of the goodies. You can see them all there. They're listed. Also, you can join my Secret Star portal, which has my written horoscopes and lots of other things, plus a year and a half of archives. And if you want to learn astrology, the Secret Star portal is great for that. The free VIP community is great for that. But if you want to really dive in deep, then you can see my Astrology Basics and Beyond course, and you can see my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Certification course. So if you're serious about astrology, you want to do it as your profession, you can benefit from my 20 years of being a professional, successful astrologer, and my 25 years of being an entrepreneur, and my 17 years of being a successful online entrepreneur. So you can see all of that at anniehelpsyou.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, a wonderful wrap up to your year, and I'll see you next month and next year. Bye.